Hi guys, so today I'm going to be sharing with you the impact that the environment of a workplace can have on the productivity of the staff or the employees of an organization. So without a doubt, there is obviously a link between the way the environment of an organization is structured and the level of productivity that the staff will give that organization. So interestingly for me, thinking about it, I personally believe that if we're looking at the factors that constitute a healthy workplace environment, we would say that some could be segmented into physical factors and maybe mental factors, sometimes even social. I was reading a research recently and I discovered that, interestingly, things as insignificant as light, things as insignificant as the temperature of a place, the color of the walls, can actually impact on productivity. Now, I know in this part of the world, it's not something that we put a lot of thought into, but these things have been proven to scientifically uplift the mood and boost productivity in the staff of an organization. So if we're looking at things that are mental, for instance, every staff wants to feel valued. Every staff wants to feel like their work, the work that is being contributed to the organization, is being valued. In most places, what is put in place are usually structures that ensure that if you are going through things mentally or emotionally, you can actually reach out to people to talk about it. Because let's be honest, most of us might have like a 9 to 5 job, but then we also have our outside lives which tend to stress us. Things can happen at home, things can happen between friends and the family, and then these things can impact the way that we produce at work. So most times it's very important that organizations have structures where mental issues, things that can impact on the mental faculties of their staff, is catered to. You can actually talk about these things. In that case, some organizations have like mental staff or mental health care departments where people can walk in and talk about stuff. And it's I think it's even more crucial in these times, especially considering the impact that the COVID has had on the environment, the workplace environment. You find that the workplace environment these days, it's more fluid. You have a lot of more staff working from home where there's family, so there's no separation between work and family, and that can tend to impact on the positivity or the productivity rather of the staff. So it's really important that you take that into account when you're talking about the workplace environment, because now the workplace environment is literally the home place environment for some certain people. So in that context, we can look at things that you can do to ensure that you are producing, in spite of the fact that there might be no clear lines between your workplace, so to speak, and your home space. For somebody like me, I have been working from home for, let's see, a little over 5 months now, in fact, since the shutdown. And for me, it was very important to create a space that I could produce in, even though that space was in my house, in the family house. So what I did was to find a room that challenged my creative spaces, and I sectioned off that room. Literally, that room was my office, and I put myself through this routine of waking up the way I still wake up when I want to go to the office. So by 8 o'clock, I'm in the room, I lock the door, and everybody knows, okay, she's in the room and she's working. And I will come out by 4:30 on the dot, usually when I close from work. So giving yourself a routine in that kind of setting where the workplace is fluid is extremely important. And also making sure that that workspace is productive for you, like it boosts your productivity. For me, having more light in the room was extremely important. So I would, all the curtains were up. And making sure that the temperature was moderate enough was something I also had to ensure. So, it was either the fan was always on or the windows were always open. So, these things tended to boost my productivity. And if you're looking back at the conventional workplace, the 9 to 5, the office setting, these same factors also apply. You want a space where you feel is your space, a space where you won't feel violated in, where it cannot be easily interrupted. So you have your own space. You want to make sure your lighting is good. You want to make sure that you're not freezing in horrible AC temperatures, which is something that most people do in the office without consideration of how the AC is impacting others. You also want to make sure that socially, you are thriving. Most organizations don't take into account that their staff also have social lives and probably would also want to establish some sort of social activity even within work. So you have organizations, for instance, who through parties, end of year parties, for instance, or some organizations who organize get-togethers every month for staff just to make sure that everybody's touching base with everybody. It's more like a family context. So these kind of factors definitely tend to affect productivity.